This is a HeadGum podcast.
What's up, shitheads? Welcome back to a bonus episode of High and Mighty. I don't know why I say welcome back, because you are welcoming two for the first time. Who gives a shit? It's that time of the year. We do our little quarterly Action Boys releases over here on High and Mighty, just to give you, the shitheads, a little free taste of the kind of stuff that's happening behind the paywall over on actionboys.biz. That's with two Z's, the Z in boys and the Z in biz, one each. Patreon.com/actionboys, whatever. There you go. You got it. It's all figured out. We talk about action movies for longer than the runtimes of the action movies. And luckily for you, I guess I'm not listening, but you're about to listen to the High and Mighty presents the Action Boys episode where we break down the 1998 John Frankenheimer film, Ronin. Highly recommend you check out the movie, but you don't have to watch it to listen to the podcast. So do yourself a favor, check it out. And then sign up at actionboys.biz. It's $5 a month and you get literally like 12 plus hours of recording. The minutes per cents is like through the roof. I don't know if that's a good thing, but the value is tight. So enough bullshit from me. Without further ado, we'll play you a little Action Boys trailer, followed by Ronin.
In a part of the world where there are no rules.
Holy shit,
guys. I'm so pumped.
I definitely have not watched this since I rented it on VHS in 92.
Strangers united by the threat of death.
We got all the fucking major players. Seagal.
Vladimir Putin is a good man.
Arnold.
Here, come, give it to me.
I need you to cream pie me now.
Stallone.
People are loving this movie.
It's got a lot of
You're
heart.
mentally irregular.
They were trying to clean up their acts.
Did porn ruin movies?
It ruined a lot of it.
Because
Definitely ruined me.
Owner of a penis pump.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
I would fucking love for my wife to like see me rip a guy's throat out.
See, you found my trophy room. Only thing it needs is your ass.
You do a good Ben Gazzara, by the way.
2019, we're still talking about Pee Wee Herman jerking off.
Because he's in Batman Returns for a split second.
If they don't kill each other first.
Fuck you, you fucking elitist pricks. Stanger, shut your fucking phone off, man.
Knock it off. Knock it off. I'll turn this fucking podcast around.
Sorry for caring, dude. I know it's cool to not care.
Where
so
you guys
sorry.
need to Stanger, he cares, and I think you should give him a hug and a kiss. Just tuck him in.
If these guys can just stand each other, the bad guys don't stand a chance.
I did a movie with Psycho.
Did you?
Yeah.
He's a fucking lunatic. Blackout drunk.
None
None of these guys' legacy is safe with me. I'll fucking dish on anybody.
The stakes are high.
There's only a couple days until Trump announces a fucking deal for Cyberdyne. We're gonna be making Terminators.
We've got the biggest Ed 209s.
We're gonna make a really great deal with the Xenomorphs.
But they didn't count on one thing. Stanger. But Gorgon.
This movie's fucking insane.
It's how you know it's a good movie. You have to do almost all the work yourself to figure it out.
What even is this movie?
Oh, there's a fantasy component. There's some sword fighting.
There's some lightning.
You know my feelings on CGI. This is some guy with a highlighter
Right,
on the film.
directly on the film.
I think it looks great.
Why isn't this technique still employed?
Bam, 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 bam.
For me, it goes 4, 1, 3, and 2. I'm not positive where
I
they
love
fall.
one.
And then
I
one
love
is
one.
so good.
I
One is
love
so
one.
good. One's
One is
legit.
objectively a good movie.
Yeah.
You wake up after a few years, and then you don't even know who you are anymore. Well, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
I'll show you what a real man is when you come to my apartment. Try not to wake up my roommate. He works at night, so we sleep all day. I pity the roommate. There's a new game in town. I'm gonna be fucking brutal, man.
You might want to handle that fleshlight with gape gloves.
Alfred, I think I need another bulletproof coffee.
Yes, I understand.
This is now the 20th ending of the movie.
I am Dark.
I'm your dad.
Action boys. Boys will be boys.
Subscribe here for bonus content and more free stuff from behind the paywall. To get new episodes, become a patron at actionboys.biz.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Do it now!
Now, I put socks on because I think doing this with bare feet is fucking not smart. It's not like I'm going to slip. I've seen the video.
It's fine, but I think you can't. They have to be socks only for here. You fucking rolling in off the street and then just jumping right in the barrels.
They're only for here, but I wear them all day. I got other shit to do. I'm going to the gym after this.
Yeah, but then they're not only for here then if you're wearing them to the gym, dude.
That's like the definition of not for here then, man.
Yeah.
No, but I wore them for here. I'm doing other stuff.
You can only wear them here.
Yeah.
Well,
we don't even want you wearing socks. I don't know why we're pushing so hard to fucking see your feet stomping the grapes, but
yeah,
the
man,
socks feel weird. I'm worried.
There's I got a question about that too. You guys keep pushing so hard to see my feet stomp the grapes. You put in this glass bottom fucking barrel, and you guys both lay below it and want to see my feet smashing the grapes. Dude,
I just want to make sure the grapes are getting all the way smashed, and I want to see your bare tootsies doing it.
Yeah. There's just something about, I'm not even going to get into it, but the vineyard is tanking. Yeah. No one's drinking. We thought that orange wine was the future.
Stupid.
We fucking got all these orange grapes.
It's fucking stupid. It ended up being a total boondoggle orange wine. I don't know. I mean,
I still think it's a good idea. I think we just got to we haven't done a cold open about it yet. I mean, who knows when it'll get released? This is like, I don't know, fucking years in the making. But like grapes.
Yeah. We're recording this 2009 at Big Sur. We rented a house and we're doing like a bunch of cold opens for a possible podcast.
Banging them out, bunch of possibles, banging them out. 09, what a hell of a year.
People have been drinking grape wine for who knows?
Millennia.
Who knows?
And it's only let's move on to other fruits. Okay? Everybody loves orange juice. People are going to love orange wine.
Yeah.
We just gotta get the fucking word out there.
I wish we went with my original name of Clemen Wine, but no one. You guys said it was sweaty.
It's sweaty. It sucks dick.
And Clement, are clementines oranges?
They're not.
So that's
a hot dog a sandwich.
They're not even a citrus varietal.
But is a hot dog a sandwich, guys?
Yo, we should
Why
release
do we drive in a parkway and park in a driveway?
Have you guys seen Avatar yet?
Welcome to Action Boys. Holy fucking shit.
Is this the most recent movie we've done in non-fucking the modern March experiment?
This is 98. I feel like we've done something else very close to 98, if not that. But I'm not going to be able to pull it. So
we did Eraser,
not
which
very
is 97.
Valuable. We did which one was?
Eraser was 1997.
Eraser.
That was probably the closest then. This might be the newest movie we've done. It's awesome because it feels like such a 70s movie that like even watching it now, I'm like, this doesn't feel like this came out in 98 at all.
What kind of history do you guys have with this?
Interesting.
I minored in it.
Interesting in
because you majored in video game stuff, right?
I majored in video game stuff. It's weird. I majored in samurai, like the art of samurai, and then minored in the film Ronin. So it's a little confusing when I tell people I have to kind of do the parentheticals and shit, but it makes sense.
I got my graduate degree in Ronin, but I majored in pussy.
Nice, dude.
Because I got so much of pussy, dude.
Right.
Yeah, I heard you studied abroad. I heard you studied a couple abroads.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hey,
I
by
double
and
majored
large,
in that. Because I did AP in high school, and I was
shit.
kind of ahead of the game.
Holy shit, dude.
You did ass play in high school, so college major in pussy was no big deal.
Yeah, I loved AP. I took a couple IB classes too.
God.
Oh no, dude! I got the fucking. I'm not gonna be able
It's
to
gonna
hold it
be
together
It's
tonight.
gonna be a long one, man.
Jesus,
It's gonna be a
Christ.
long one.
Okay, so Ronin for me, I saw it in high school, and I remember being excited for the movie coming off of Heat and kind of this this De Niro heist serious action offering. But I remember being bored by it when I saw it in the theaters and thinking like, oh, a lot. It was also the first time I saw like an Audi or thought an Audi was cool. I was like,
I think that was true for a lot of us.
Yeah, I was like,
I think the Audi popped in this movie.
what even is an Audi? And so I saw that, but I remember being disappointed by it and then discovering it later and liking it for obvious reasons. But my initial viewing kind of was like, this is a bit of a bore.
For me, it was one of the first movies where I was like, oh, some people are fucking wrong about shit. Because I went with my family. I had family visiting, and they were kind of driving my brother and I nuts. Like they kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit, and they just like wouldn't leave, and we just felt stuck with these people in our house. And finally, we convinced everybody to go see a movie to just like do anything. So I'll go see Ronin. My brother and I are both like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome. That movie ruled. And then my one aunt's like, I don't know what that was. What even happened in that movie? What even is
And
this
I'm a movie buff.
I'm a movie aunt.
Yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately, I missed the mark on it, and for some reason I had something else in my mind, and I acknowledge I missed the mark on it though, because
I think you're right, Stenger. I was kind of like bored by it too, like because not a lot happens for like 40 minutes in the beginning of this movie, but now I'm like, give me all the fucking De Niro pipe you fucking can. I
Same.
love him just being the smartest guy in the room. And I revisited this like after college when people were like talking about movies that had great car chases. I was like, oh yeah, Ronin had a cool car chase. I don't remember the movie that much. And I put it back on and I was into it in a completely different way than when I first saw it in the theater.
I was fully on board, and one of the big scenes that I talked about as soon as I left was De Niro using the parking brake in the chase.
Yeah,
I was always like, this movie fucking rules. Even just his look in the car just was fucking just like, I'm going to do it for you guys. Back as far back into his chair as possible with his arms forward. Like it's like.
Yeah.
I loved it because she's doing a cool face in it, and he looks like he's really driving, like he looks nervous. And it's great. Like it works, you know. He's such a good fucking. He's so minimal, and it just makes him great. And you can watch him do anything.
He's just being cool for most of this movie, and being smarter than everyone around him. And I wish the movie was 4 hours. Ben, the scene for me that I was talking about after the second time I watched it, and I was so into it, was him sliding the coffee off. And getting fucking what's his face to snag Skarsgård to snatch it.
Yeah.
And when he snatches, he's like quick reflexes. I'm like, that is so in hindsight, that's just so fucking cool.
The
I love
cast
shit like
is
that.
much stronger than I remembered as a kid. That for sure. Skarsgård kind of hadn't fully made a name for himself in this country, in my memory. And I get why, like, my aunt didn't understand it, thought it was boring or was confused. It's because they don't spoon feed you a lot of stuff. They let you kind of figure it out. And then also the plot is fully secondary. It's not a plot-driven movie at all, and it to the point where it's like they're having fun with it. It's all just like, whatever, we got to get this thing. You're never going to find out what it is. You don't really know who's working for who. And there's a little bit of a reveal at the end, but otherwise, it kind of reminds me of those. Have you guys ever read the Richard Stark Parker books?
I have.
A lot of stuff has been kind of cribbed from it, but it's more or less.
Is that? Did I see? Did they make that into a movie with Statham?
Maybe. It's a lot of like movies like Payback and
Statham made a movie with J-Lo called Parker in 2013. I don't know if I saw it, and I don't know if it's based on these actual books either, but I would imagine it is.
I never saw it.
The hidden Statham library of movies. You look at like his IMDb, and he's headlined 48 movies, and you're like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah.
What was that? When? Wait, what? I remember The Transporter, and
I remember like Transporter, one of the Guy Ritchie ones, and then like then it was Hobbs and Shaw, I feel. And then in the middle.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm thinking of Point Blank, the Lee Marvin movie, where it's just a fucking dude who wants his money, and he can only do this one fucking thing. He's only like a badass dude. And most of this movie, you think, oh, De Niro's just this fucking machine.
Right.
And even the title Ronin, it all fucking works for me. All the weird shit with fucking Michael Lonsdale, I'm like all for it. All this weird 47.
That's Day of the Jackal guy, right?
Yeah,
that's
he's in
the
Day of the
French cop from
Jackal.
Day of the.
He's also in Moonraker.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm not as caught up on fucking Bond, but when I watched Day of the Jackal based off your reco, Ben, and I was so fucking hyped to see him in this movie.
He's
like,
great.
I watched Day of the Jackal 2 days before I watched this movie.
It's a good companion piece for Day of the Jackal. And also,
that's what made me.
Go ahead.
I love that
Sorry.
Frankenheimer directed this, and it's such a satisfying story because here's this guy.
What a weird career.
He kind of peaked in the 60s, and he's got like a good work ethic. He gets it done. He's from another generation where it's a fucking job, and you do your director job. Then
people that aren't movie buffs, to put it in perspective, he directed the original Manchurian Candidate like in 1962, and he's doing this fucking movie in 1998, just to give you an idea.
This movie came out after the reboot of a movie he directed.
What? No, the Manchurian Candidate reboot was probably like 2004, something like that.
Oh, okay.
But still, I mean, it's this crazy long career. He probably died. I think he died in the early 2000s, maybe even right before that reboot came out. But I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen we've probably talked about it, but the documentary about the making of The Island of Dr. Moreau.
It's on my list.
He got thrown on that, and everybody hated him and totally disrespected him. So he makes this fucking disaster. He's kind of like a joke, but he's still got a fucking good movie in him. And so he comes out and he does this shit, and it fucking rules.
Yeah.
This movie fucking owns. And because I watched Day of the Jackal leading up to it, it really pointed for me, and I don't have any interesting criticism, like interesting point of view, other than this movie felt like such a cool 70s movie. It's like international. It's got fucking old people in it. The car, like nothing's flashy about this movie, and everyone is fucking like.
I also like the color scheme.
It's so miserable. It's like not miserable, but it's like so muted, and it makes it so fucking like cool.
It's like a lot of Melville movies that I like, where it's a lot of like pale greens and pale blues, and there's a couple, like when they're inside one of the safe houses that they go to, I'm like, oh, I fucking love all the movies that they're even going for, and it's unlike Mission Impossible or something like that, where there's an air of kind of comic booky bullshitness to it,
tongue in cheek, little cheekiness.
Yeah, this doesn't have any of that. It's like, oh, De Niro does seem like a real fucking world weary guy. He's just really, really good at his job.
Yeah, like a fucking relic of the Cold War. There's a couple things I that jumped out at me watching this. So it's impossible not to compare it to Heat, even though they're much different movies, much different vibe.
I think it's definitely possible
feel.
to compare. Not good.
It's
What's that?
It's
impossible
definitely
fucking
to
way,
not
dude.
compare 'em.
I don't know how double negatives work, but rewind that in whatever way to say it that makes sense. Put that in your mind. But it's amazing because it's 3 years. I would say he's very sexy in Heat. He's not sexy in this. And they have they kind of have a May-November romance with the Irish chick, and it doesn't. I don't know if I buy it necessarily. It's the one thing in the movie I like that it's in there. I don't buy it, and it's like you can already start to feel De Niro being a little bit older in this. But I would argue that it works given what he is in the movie and where he comes from. It's like
I agree.
I
You
agree.
believe
I
that he's
fully
this
bought it because he's got that great scene where he alphas everybody. Also, the casting. I still think he looks pretty good. I was like, see, the thing that pisses me off about De Niro movies now is that I'm like, fuck, man, De Niro is definitely. There's no way I will age as well as this fucking guy. And that makes me like, damn, he's a fucking pretty good looking 50-year-old guy. And they put the cast around him all looks pretty schlubby. In comparison. Even
the
Sean
point
Bean.
the point that I'm making is that I feel like he is more sexualized in Heat than he is in this.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that's
character
because
choice, right?
A character,
His character
he's
in
a
this-
criminal. He's a criminal in Heat, and so there's a little bit of that danger about him. And really, in this, he's playing that at the beginning, but in reality, he's a square. Like he's a government guy all the way through. And so I think it all works.
In
And in
this,
Heat,
it's
he's
because
also a
I
little.
think
Go ahead.
I think in this it's because he has dad energy. Like his character is like smarter than everyone and like, come on, give me the answers. Let me talk to you because he's like a CIA guy. But I think in Heat it's because he's a bad boy. He can be sleazy because I love him in this. I even find him. I think he looks great, but I think it's weird that he gets in with that girl that hard. But I think there's a lot of stuff in the movie that it feels like it's in the movie because it's in other movies. It's supposed to be in this movie.
I think they did a pretty solid job setting up. I bought the relationship because, in Heat, De Niro's a flamingo. He's fucking peacocking. He fucking wears really nice suits and he's really well groomed. In this,
He stands on one leg. He eats shrimp out of the water around his foot and stuff.
In this,
like a
he's,
flamingo.
He's trying to blend in, And then also, I think they did a good job of like, okay, we got to make out because the cops are going by, and then she's like, you know what, I fucking like that.
Oh, I thought it was super sexy, and like she kind of is like flushed in it. It was very sexy and very surprising, and it also, she's gaming him a little bit.
It ruled,
I mean, I get it. Ultimately, all kind of worked. I just didn't. I wasn't like, oh, these fuckers they have like incredible chemistry together. I don't know. It was interesting. He's not as sexualized in this. I don't know if Frankenheimer shoots him as well as Mann does, but it makes sense. For me, it makes sense for the story.
Frankenheimer has a good sense for set pieces, and Manchurian Candidate definitely kind of set a bar in the 60s for, when the assassination is going to take place. It's a pretty thrilling scene. And this, he kind of uses a couple. I would love to put a list together of action set pieces set to opera, orchestras, plays. It's like even the baptism in Godfather. I think it's one of those. There's this, if you're into comic books at all, there's this famous illustrator. His name's Wallace Wood. And he's known as putting together this list. It's called like Wood's 22 panels that always work. And when you look at it, it kind of shows you the fucking how the sausage is made.
Yes, I know what you're referring to.
A little bit of the nuts and bolts. So you look at it and it's like, oh wow, that does always work. It's like, worm's eye view shots or like shadow on this or like silhouette of a gun. he breaks it all down in these different angles that you can use that always set a dramatic tone to your story. And I think you could say the same thing. Like if you made a cinematic equivalent where you're talking about set pieces, anything set to like a big fucking play or something. I mean, even fucking Shakespeare had the play within a play. It's like it adds another layer where people are in the background doing stuff and you have this action that looks good and it probably sets a mood with the music and the feeling of the show. Mission Impossible did it most recently.
And it's kind of an homage to all the ones you're referencing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even figure skating could argue. You know what I mean? Like
that's
that
why I brought
fits,
it up.
like-
It's like figure skating.
Yeah.
Katarina Witt too. I love her.
I know.
She posed in Playboy. I was like I couldn't believe it when I was a kid.
That's like the thing I know about her.
I tracked it
that
down.
she was in Playboy is like the only other thing I know about her besides skating in this movie.
What a scumbag I am, huh?
It's funny. I think you're right, Rogers. The movie does a lot of stuff that is like thrilling in movies. That's why I said the reason De Niro and her get together and I buy it is because it would happen in a spy undercover action thriller. And it feels like, I mean, this movie even stumbles together in the third act where it's like Deus Ex Machina. Everything is like, oh, figure skating box. You know, like it all just like stumbles down and you don't mind at all.
I love it. I
It's
do
not
feel
about
like
the
it's
plot.
Frankenheimer just being like, this is my last hurrah. I got one more movie in it. I'm going to bust out all the tricks I've learned. And even it's like, whose fucking movie even is this? It's you know, there's so many characters. And in a way, the fact that De Niro doesn't have a country for most of the movie, it's like, well, normally you wouldn't follow this character. Normally you wouldn't follow the two goons. This is like, let's use Hudson Hawk as a fucking example of a movie that's a mess and that's going for a feeling that this one is. Where it's like if Hudson Hawk was just about Frank Stallone. Is what Ronin is.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many machinations happening above this crew, unbeknownst to them, and we're following the guy on the ground floor. We're like following the linebackers coach at Hard Knocks.
You would normally
in the
follow
season of
like
Hard Knocks.
the person with the most probably nationalistic interest in it of the fucking James Bond character trying to stop, you know, whatever fucking evil like terrorist group is trying to steal his box. Or even it would make sense to follow the Irish who need it, or even fucking this ex-KGB guy, Gregor. You know, at times he seems
He's
like
got a
the
lot
central
going on.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then who gets
even
the last
Jean Reno
line?
seems like
Vincent.
Jean Reno. Yeah.
It's Gene Reno.
That makes more sense.
Two things. Following the linebacker coach, as long as it's that guy that
I
was
think it's
doing
John.
coke on film. It's Gene Reno.
That's and he was the Secretary of Defense for a little while, right? Or the Surgeon General.
Yeah, and then it was in the early 2000s. That's why they made the documentary Reno 911 about him, about his participation in the 9/11 attacks.
Daryl Hammond did a great impression of him. What was that coach's name that's doing the coke? Did you guys ever see that? Dude, I'm doing some fucking coke for you right now. So I'm about to go to a fucking meeting. Did you ever see that NFL coach that they have video? He had some like chick that he was dating, and he sent her a video of him doing coke before going into some meeting, and then she just posted it online.
That's fucking awesome.
I'll find it and send it to you guys. The guy's like, "Oh, look, you're so fucking hot. You're making me crazy. I'm doing coke right now." And he snorts a bunch of coke, and it was got fired as an NFL coach. Oh, and then what I wanted to say about the MacGuffin aspect, very effective use of the MacGuffin device, because I was fine with never knowing what was in the briefcase. You know, you want to know. It is interesting. Yeah. It does drive things, but then when it ends, you're not like, oh, that's a bit of a cop-out. So, you know, people will hide behind that, and I would argue Mission Impossible 3, where they try to do the MacGuffin with the rabbit's paw, fucking bothers me. But this one,
it sucks.
Great. I would, I
think this does not bother me at all. Yeah,
I think it's because they keep also talking about it too.
Yeah, and saying, don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah.
like saying, like, don't you worry about what's in it is such a funny thing because it eventually just works on me where I'm like, stop asking. Just go along with the fucking heist, dude.
Well, it's
By the
cool
way,
too because
I want to do an action set piece set to guys doing like really hacky improv. Like a really
Like a
fucking
heist.
a really hacky improv
a
show.
heist
and
at like a corporate event.
yeah.
Whoa! Like close-ups on like people like doing a fucking organic opening while other guys are like drilling into a safe downstairs.
Two dudes fucking just sliding chairs around.
a lot of object work. If they had like a sniper fixed on them, people would just pray that like whoever would mess up so that they would just shoot the people. It's like, who cares? No tension. Just shoot the people on stage and put us all out of
It's
our
not
misery.
It's not Katarina Witt. It's a fucking Middleditch and Schwartz. Take the shot. Should we spray paint this ice skating box silver, Ben?
Oh yeah, let's spray paint the box. Let me spray the box.
Spray down the box, brother.
Beat it. By your command. What the hell? Where is everybody? Action, boys?
Where are you? A fourth window just popped up on our Zoom. How did you figure? This is a password fucking. How'd you get in here?
I did interdimensional transportation and ended up on this screen like Max Headroom. Whoa.
Well, who made the movie, man?
Good
distributed it?
good
That's cool.
question, Rogers. I'm Max Headroom.
I know, I got
Rogers.
the reference. I think me and Rogers are the only people old enough to get it.
That's for young kids. I know a toddler that loves Max Headroom. He had a birthday party for Max Headroom style.
Yeah, my nephew had a Spuds McKenzie themed bar mitzvah this year.
I do think it is the most popular bar mitzvah theme right now. Is Max Headroom.
I heard at the height of his powers, Spuds McKenzie got blown by a human chick. At the height of his powers, a human chick blew Spuds McKenzie.
She was fucking nasty.
A human chick. Do you call girls dog? Do you call girl dogs dog chicks or chick dogs?
Yeah. Just to be clear, otherwise people are confused. Look at that dog chick. And I call...
I've heard that story too. It is real. It's not apocryphal. It's like, it actually happened. There are witnesses. She was fucking nasty, but still, like, for a dog to get blown by a human chick, it's pretty amazing.
Well, because dogs just like to mate. Female dogs, chick dogs just like to mate. They don't like to get the person off, but humans like to get each other off. So the dog's like, whoa, this is transcending mating. Somebody's trying to fucking get me off. What's happening?
Well, all I gotta say is, hey, Spuds, give me paw, brother.
He's long dead.
I know. I'm at his grave. You can't see, but I'm at his graveside dropping flowers.
He committed suicide.
You're at the wrong grave, dude, because I'm at his grave also.
Oh shit! I see. Never mind.
Or
then.
maybe I'm
definitely
at the wrong grave.
No. I'm at the wrong grave. This family is very furious with me. I guess his name was.
You're at Potatoes or Hurley graves.
Yeah, I'm at an Irish funeral and they're not doing social distancing. I got to get the fuck out of here.
Anyway, I got to get off this fucking thing. Well, I don't like being on this screen like Max Headroom. This was an MGM movie, also United Artists. The best.
So
anyway.
we start with a little.
Wait, I gotta go. I love you guys. Stay safe.
Hey, thanks, man.
Social distance and stay safe.
Hand to God, love you too.
No concerts till 2031.
Well, have you seen any of the 2031 shows? They good?
Yeah, they're fucking awesome. fucking awesome. Music is the best it's ever been. Bye-bye, ringtone rap. I gotta go. I love you guys. Stay safe.
Bye, bye.
Hey, appreciate it.
All right.
Well, that was wild.
That was weird. My screen cut out.
Yeah, I had like a laughing skull happen on my screen, and then all of a sudden, and it was like, ha, ha, ha. And then next thing I know, Stangerbot's there.
Oh,
and then when he
shit.
leaves, I got like the radioactive symbol, and it was just like spinning around. I don't know how. It was 8 like vector graphics to explain he hacked into my computer. I don't get it.
Wow. Mozart's
That's
ghost.
fucking scary when that shit happens.
Totally.
It's super scary.
Scary as
That shit
hell.
is scary as hell when that stuff happens.
You're
like
up
I'll
to
be on
bad
my
things.
computer, and then all of a sudden, like a face of like Harry Knowles will pop up, but it won't actually be his face. It'll just be like his chin going up and down, saying stuff to me. And I'll be like, "Oh man, this is scary."
Scary. Didn't say the magic word.
Ain't it
100%
cool?
on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, right. I got Rotten Tomatoes and Ain't It Cool confused for a second there.
Could Harry Knowles have pulled off that selling the embryos?
Selling
'Cause
the
no,
embryos? Oh yeah. It took me a while to be like, "What are you talking about?" The embryos.
It was a stupid question. Nidri couldn't quite do it, but could
Yeah.
Harry Knowles have
Could
done it?
Harry? I mean, I heard a story about him that he used to like he'd go to these premieres and just like get so fucking hammered he'd barf in like popcorn buckets and shit and then just leave them in the theater.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
it's fucked up. I can't believe Beyonce won't like fucking make him get out of the spotlight or whatever. He's fucking like, get your brother in check, dude.
So in feudal
He's just
Japan,
at Christmas every day with. Oh, sorry. Maybe we should start the movie.
the warrior class of samurai were sworn to protect their liege lords with their lives. Those samurai whose liege was killed suffered a great shame, and they were forced to wander the land looking for work as hired samurais or bandits. These masterless warriors were no longer referred to as samurai. They were known by another name. Such men were called Ronin. Then we cut to Paris, and we see De Niro walking down some steps. I like that this just throws you right into a confusing situation. You don't know what the fuck is going on. We see a blonde get out of a van. She goes into the cafe. She puts on an apron. She's working there. Everybody's kind of fucking looking at each other. We see our boy Jean Reno walk in, the professional. We haven't seen him in a little while. Can't remember the last movie of his we did. But he pops up in things from time to time in the Action Boys universe. This is the first time he's brought his pig back.
Yeah,
I don't know which
know.
cut you guys watched.
I got the pig cut.
I got the pig cut
Hello,
too.
oi, 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 oi.
I have someone who can help you, Sam. I can't do this surgery, Sam, but I have someone who can. Wait here. Oink, oink, oink.
Matilda.
All right, just cut. Okay, Piggy, just cut a little bit. All right, Pig, just make sure you get that bullet. Can you take the fucking pig thing off? Hey, you're talking to the pig.
And Vincent, who's this fucking girl, man? We don't have a fucking booster seat we can put in the car. You get rid of this chick, dude. Was she 10, 11? Get her the fuck out of here.
So he walks in, he orders a beer. Everybody's eyeballing each other. De Niro is looming around outside, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? He goes back around to the back in like a back alley, and he is pacing, waiting for people to go by, and then he plants a gun under a bin full of bottles. Then he goes inside the cafe, and they tell him it's closed. Everybody's speaking French. It's another thing that I was really into when I first saw this movie is the use of subtitles in foreign languages, and that they didn't fucking cheat it as much as they had been doing in the 90s. Of like,
Yeah.
just everybody fucking speaks English everywhere.
This
they
truly
do
feels
in
like
this as well.
but it truly feels like an international movie. You get they shoot in Europe. There are people speak in a lot of different languages.
And they also don't use subtitles all the time. Very effectively.
right.
So you don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck is going on unless you speak French or Russian.
Yeah. Or Pig Latin, like Vincent's friend that does the surgery.
Yeah, I think Larry speaks Pig Latin in a lot of it, too. Well, we'll get to Larry in a second. I think he's my favorite character in this.
Wait, I have so much to say about Larry. I'm so pumped. I was making more of a joke about the pig puppet, but yes, let's get to Larry.
The pig. Yeah, I know. The blonde is like, why are you brushing off? And she's speaking English. And De Niro does a cool thing where he's like, I don't know what you're saying because he's speaking French. He kind of pretends like he doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. But they're all kind of talking in code. And she opens the back door. Everybody leaves. And she's like, why were you being so fucking hesitant? He's like, I never walk into a place I don't know how to walk out of. And then she's like, then why are you getting in the van? And he's like, you know the reason. And that line, so David Mamet wrote the script. It's really hard to get full credit for a script that isn't initially yours. Like, you got to rewrite a lot. And there's a lot of scumbag tricks that people pull. You got to rename characters. You got to do all sorts of shit. And even then, it's pretty hard. So I think that fight got pretty dicey. Now that we're, fucking 22 years out of this movie, it's pretty clear David Mamet wrote it. You look at the other guy's credits, he's written like 2 made-for-TV movies and a 2008 Seagal movie, and David Mamet's David Mamet still.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel him all over this. So famously, you won't see his name on it because he only will take things he gets sole credit for, and because he didn't win the arbitration or whatever, he just wrote it under a pseudonym or something.
Yeah, he's like JC Chazé or something like that, or whatever. JD Zeke or whatever.
I think he's James Dean. Deen.
Deen.
Perfect.
Yeah, the Canyons.
Oh, Zeke's the original guy, I think. His name, the actual guy's name is fake. Richard Weiss is what Mamet's pen name is on this.
So this van pulls into a warehouse.
Real name.
Sean Bean is already there. He's lurking above everything. And again, you don't know who the fuck is who, what everybody's role is. There's bunks and equipment everywhere. Stellan Skarsgård walks in. He's got a great look. He's got like a weird kind of plump businessman look.
He looks just like his professor character in Good Will Hunting. He looks like they shot it like back to back. Like
he's got a Fields Medal.
The fucking Fields Medal, George.
So the blonde starts telling him about the job, and it's all the instructions are real vague. And when I watched this as a kid, I always felt like it was a lot longer and a lot more setup. But now rewatching, I'm like, man, this movie fucking moves. It's almost like they're doing jump cuts. They're fucking cruising through information. They're not even giving you the information. It's like, let's just fucking get to it. You got to steal this briefcase.
Yeah, I don't know what mind space I was in to not feel the pace and how agreeable it is. I don't know. It was such a miss. I think that's why it's remarkable to me, because upon the second viewing of it, I was just like, oh man, just completely wrong, like in the wrong headspace. Because it's a zippy movie.
But it's not like other movies you were watching in 1997 and 1998. So that's why you were like, I'm going to see a Van Damme movie, like that level of action movie. Instead, you're seeing like something more cerebral, and you're like, that's boring. And then like 1 year later, you watch it again, you're like, fuck, this movie slaps.
So she's all right, I'll tell you more about the job tomorrow. Our crew is eating food. They're eating breakfast. Sean Bean, he's got such a great look. They use it again a few years earlier in Goldeneye, where he just is instantly unlikable.
Oh, right.
He always plays kind of a coward, traitor, loser character. He's just got that look,
He's got that look. He's got like a good kind of greasy look about him, and there's something sad about him at the same time.
Yeah.
But he's
But
also handsome.
something that makes him. Yeah, there's something that makes him seem like he could be one of these badass guys, though, too. Just like Boromir, just like Ned Stark. Like, he carries himself in a way where you're like, this guy's capable.
He's
But
got
then
a
you're
natural
like, who
chip
is
on
this
his shoulder.
He's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
few
yeah.
DNA strands away from being a leading man, but he's not.
Right.
You know, he's always the kind of setup of somebody you think is kind of one thing, and maybe they're redeemed, or they're, you know, they look like they're going to be badass, but they're a bitch. Because he's kind of like that in Lord of the Rings, right? Doesn't he get all?
Yeah.
He gets all fucking
that was
horny
the
for the
character
ring.
Gabrus just said, yeah. The
Oh, my bad.
Gabrus did the fucking name cut. He's like, you ever kill anybody to De Niro? He's
And that's what.
this
That's
shit.
when you know immediately he's a douchebag,
Yes.
right? Like, you're like, oh, what a fucking loser. That's like on day one of a TV job, someone's like, so what have you shot recently?
Yes,
and you're
that's
like, Fuck,
it.
get the
Gabrus, I was
fuck
about
outta
to
here.
say the same thing. It really made me feel, and I do think there's some Mamet like play theater, like a bunch of people being stuck together that is leaked into the script to define. Like, it reminded me of people puffing out their chest, and you're like, the guys you know who are a little bit more successful being douchebags and like dropping like some. I mean, I remember working on a thing where we all had to get in a van every morning, and this one girl would bring up her deal with MTV every day. And I waited for, like, we were waiting for it because, of course, also that person is the person who shows up late. And so we're all fucking in the van waiting. The thing fucking sucks that we're working on. So everybody's a little miserable. And then I'm like, so how long do you think until she brings up MTV this morning? And like, nobody said anything. And everybody kind of looked at their coffee. And this girl fucking barrels in and fucking they start up the van. We start driving. She's like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I mean, MTV has been like fucking keeping me up, like talking about this show, and everybody just kind of stared out the window. But he's got that vibe. And De Niro,
sure.
De Niro's got a
Booking
great.
stuff. I
He's
keep
like,
booking
think I heard
things.
somebody's feel. Do you ever kill somebody? Think I hurt somebody's feelings once. And they get.
And De Niro's the guy who's got like 100 credits under his belt, and he's like asleep in the van, not interacting with anyone, right? Like, if you're keeping the analogy going, the guy who's like, who's that guy? He's like, I don't know. He's been on a million of these sets.
And Bean's even like, don't I know you? He's like, no, I'd remember. And there's something so great about De Niro's energy that's so American to me. And it really stands out with the international cast of like, he's got such a great, like, I don't know, like, it remind me of like a friend's dad who's like probably a shitty dad and like doesn't really want to fucking talk to like any of his fucking kids or his kids' friends. It's like, get the fuck out of the house.
Get out.
Right?
Get out.
But he seems cool because he doesn't like you, right? Like, it makes that guy's dad cool, where you're like, your dad's cool. He's always like, always in the shed being mean to everybody. You're like, I like him.
And they
Who do you think's-
and Frankenheimer does a good job of getting a lot of reaction shots of just seeing everybody being like, yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Who do you think's more American, De Niro or the idea of like if Uncle Sam were real? Serious question, serious answers only.
Well, I actually thought they did a pretty good job of kind of giving us two different Americans. Of we get this like kind of cynical, badass American dude, and then we get our fat fucking like, I like cars and I like making food.
Yeah. I love spirited casting. I mean, who even is this guy? What do we know him from anything?
He's fucking great. I
It
love
adds
the
to the
casting of
realism.
him. I love his character.
Me too.
I love that he doesn't really fit in. And he's
Yeah.
De Niro. They asked him.
I
at
know
one
him from
point,
the show Third Watch is the only thing I remember him from, but he has a real Greg Gunberg vibe. You know, that dude that's in like all
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams
Well,
stuff. He has
but
like
he's
a real
more
like,
likable. Yeah,
yes,
Yeah, I like him
for
way
sure.
more than that fucking.
Gabrus. You know who he
douche.
reminds me of? Gavin Spieler.
Oh, 100%. Shout out to Gavin. He's very much like Gavin.
The
You know what I like? You know what I liked about it? I like it because, you know, it's a cliche in these movies that everybody has like a severe face or something. but probably not. I mean, it is in all likelihood that somebody in the group would look like that. It was
Right,
cool.
and-
It made it feel real to me.
My favorite thing about him about Larry in this movie is that he's like the master driver.
Yeah.
And like he's exclusively in charge of driving in the car and shit. And then like everyone else is revealed to be sick
Yeah,
drivers.
everybody else is
Like,
fucking maybe
everyone's
better.
really good.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
definitely not special.
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm the wheel man, blah, blah. And then later on in the movie, he's dead, and other people are just blaring, doing cooler shit than he ever did.
At one point, he's De Niro, and we later learn the blonde's name is Deirdre. De Niro is Sam. So Sam and Deirdre are alone, and he's like, "Where'd you find these guys?" And she's like, "Where do you think they're from?" And there's a lot of that kind of like nobody giving out information, answer a question with a question. But then he's like, I don't know, ex-military, cell block. And I was like, oh, fucking, he's the fucking criminal guy. Everybody's probably military except him. He seems like he's like a fucking mob, like wheelman.
I think they effectively set that up, but I feel like he is, once you know the truth, you kind of, to me, he does feel like CIA, you know? There's a squareness about him that makes sense at the very end.
Oh, I'm not talking about De Niro. I'm talking about Lenny or Larry.
Larry.
Oh, Larry, yeah, criminal. Yes, Larry, yeah, the slob.
Oh.
Larry's the cell
Larry
block
is like
guy.
stolen car parts. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Larry is like a total. Yeah,
Yeah.
Larry's a total. And I would go as far to say like he's not even like a street criminal. Like he owns a garage or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he has some like he's like that one tier up where he owns a garage in like Trenton, New Jersey that just makes stolen cars and shit disappear.
He's a bank robber wheelman. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so fun. It's so sick. And like I love the whole, you know me, I love any sequence with like logistics when they're like, I'm going to need an Audi A8, this, nitrous boost. And he's just nodding and they're talking about weapons. Like that shit all fucking rules for me.
So they wake up the next morning. Jean Reno's character, his name is Vincent, and he gives De Niro a cigarette, and they introduce each other It's like, I'm Vincent, I'm Sam. The blonde Deirdre lays out a bunch of money, introduces herself. She's like, if you need any equipment, Vincent is the guy. Vincent's our local. He's from France. He'll hook us up with all the stuff we need.
Could you guys imagine like doing some fucking heist thing that you get recruited for and then just spending the night in the same room with all the people you just met? Like they pass out like sleeping bags and shit. Like that's fucking crazy, right?
Dude, I was thinking that too. I was like, imagine being 50 and having to fucking like sleep on a cot next to some other fucking random 50-year-old guy.
I know.
After you eat like a bunch of like your shitty meal together.
You ate like fucking peanut butter on white bread and then sleep on a cot. You're like, I'm a 50-year-old man. I have a family at home. Like
Yes,
this is a
like-
Let me
nightmare.
check the old sleep score. Sleep score is
Check the
13.
sleep score.
Yeah.
It's like
13.
Why did I sign up for this job that put me in Katrina sleeping standards?
I think they do a good job of De Niro demonstrating that it is a little sketchy to sleep in front of these people, because when he wakes up, he's like, "Whoa, what the like?" He's a little, and then when he gets out of the sleeping bag and he's in a full suit, you're like, "Hell yeah, my man slept in dress shoes
Also,
and a jacket in a
he looked
zipped up
so-
sleeping bag."
To Stanger's point about his look, I was like, man, I wish I looked like that when I woke up. Like, I look like fucking
Oh, yeah.
such dog shit when I wake up. And I'm like, the guy it just goes for fucking work like that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It takes me a while to not look like a catcher's mitt. I got to fucking get up, get going, get a little caffeine on board.
I look like dog shit when I wake up, but at my best, I look like 8% less dog shit. I'm kind of running at like peak near dog shit levels. So
Yeah, I
you
kind of
wouldn't notice if I had just woken up.
It's like when you fucking fold up like a travel pillow or something, and like you take it out of the bag and like you got to wait for it to like it's like it stretches out and shit. It takes me about like 5 hours after I wake up to fully like become the normal shape. Until then,
yeah,
I'm
for
like,
my spine has to untwist since I sleep in like the worst possible position with 300 pounds of pressure on it all night. Then I wake up and I'm just like,
you guys side
and then
sleepers?
Yeah, side for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a back sleeper, but I'm such a side sleeper.
Can you like change? Because I think sleeping on your back's better, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Gotta be.
It is for me because when I sleep on my side, I put my arm under the pillow, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night with like absolutely numb arm from like elbow down, like can't feel it. It's like such bad pins and needles that it's woken me up. Or I'll wake up in the morning and be like stuck like this for like a minute and a half.
Yo, my shoulders are like destroyed. Like for a while, one of my shoulders, I was like, man, this shoulder's done. And then I would start sleeping on the other side. And now I'm like, well, they're both shot.
Yeah, I effectively switched sides because of a shoulder thing, but I tried back. I can't do it. Like I can go from one side to the other. I have one that I prefer that I can't do anymore, but back seems impossible for me.
I'm really trying to learn back because if I do it for a good chunk, my everything feels better in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I can get it right, it's best for me, just not the most comfortable way. I always wake up on my side, but try to go back to sleep on my back.
It's definitely fucking crazy to get sleep injuries.
I know.
Yeah.
That's when you feel old, when you're like, you stay at a hotel for one night in a pillow or the mattress is different and you're like limping for a week. You're like, my body, I should be able to roll with this for one night.
You remember being a kid and being like, well, I'll just sleep on the floor. Like when Gabrus and I slept on an airport carpet and we were like, well, all right, off to the next thing.
Yeah, when we got 90 minutes of sleep fully dressed on a fucking rock hard carpet in like the Charlotte airport and we're fine.
Woke up, did a show, went to a bar.
Got fucking wasted.
Stone can wake up right in the morning, looks refreshed, normal, and can go into a dead sprint. And just is like, if I tried to do that, I'd be in a fucking wheelchair for the rest of my life. Like I would injure every muscle possible. Like
I can't wait to go
like a cheetah.
I'm going to do straight up like deprivation tank in like a fucking another couple of months, I think. Why not? Why not build a tank that fucking like restricts my oxygen and shit? Or like jacks it up? I don't even know how this shit works.
Restricts your oxygen? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, there's a hyperbaric chamber where you have pure oxygen.
Yeah, I want pure
hyperbaric
oxygen.
chamber, and then there's also a sensory deprivation.
There's sensory deprivation, yeah.
I think if you would had an oxygen deprivation chamber, you'd have a hard time because you'd be coming.
No, doesn't
so
that
much.
doesn't that mimic the like high altitude shit?
They say that it doesn't. It's supposed to, but they have the masks and stuff, and supposedly you are replicating that. That's what they promise. But in a lot of the research I've seen, you don't get the same red blood cell response that you do from actually being at altitude.
Because didn't that biker build one in Bigger, Faster, Stronger? That one bicyclist?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. So maybe if there's the actual chamber, I only know about the masks. I'd have to watch. Yeah.
Because have you not watched that, Sanger?
No, I missed it for some reason.
Oh, dude. You're gonna love it.
Watch it tonight. You're gonna fucking love it.
Yeah, it's a crazy twist, right? What they go out to prove ends up being something completely different or something.
Well, it starts off them kind of trying to like get in Schwarzenegger's face about steroids, but then they all just like him so much they don't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty much a pro steroids documentary.
Yeah,
I think I've seen this. Is it Mike Bell? Is he the one that did it?
Yeah.
I've seen it. I thought
those guys were bouncers at the bar I hung out at in college, the Bell brothers.
That's cool. One of them is a wrestler, the guy that died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rennie's Pub.
I was thinking of like Icarus or something like that.
Oh yeah, Icarus is the one where they sought out to like just talk to this Russian guy who was in charge of the Olympics committee, and then he's revealed that he's been like, like the state mandated that he dose and drug all the athletes and shit like that.
Jesus.
So Vincent's their
Crazy.
equipment guy. People start like asking him for random shit. And the job is they need to steal a briefcase. And it's going to be an ambush job. They get the case, they get out. And Bean's like, I'm a weapons man. Here's a list of weapons that I'm going to get us if anybody else needs something. And it's kind of getting heated. Bean immediately, like as soon as he talks, everybody like fucking De Niro gets annoyed at him.
Yeah. It's like nails on a chalkboard when Bean speaks. Like everyone reacts to it.
It feels so real, and everything that they're doing in this movie so far is so effective. You're just dying to see more of it. This was so what I needed. I was like, oh man, I'm so in for this. Like everything about this is working for me.
And they keep alluding to this man in the wheelchair that was kind of everybody's contact person, which is another cool thing where like you don't get the full story and who cares. It's just like fun fucking window dressing. And then De Niro does the cool coffee spill move that Gabrus talked about before, just to kind of figure out like who the fuck is Skarsgård. Skarsgård plays a character named Gregor, and he's kind of feeling him out, and he looks like this buttoned up nerd. And De Niro wisely is like, there's more to this guy than he's putting on. And so he fucking does a fake, he pretends to spill his own coffee. Then he goes to clean it up and knocks over Skarsgård, who catches it like a cat.
Right.
He's like,
so
good
not
reflexes.
not the egghead you think, like he's
Not the techie guy he's pretending to be. Also, first of a couple of De Niro's coffee traps we'll see. He's a master Sam's
with
pretty
the
much a
fucking things
coffee trap
around
guy.
him. Yeah.
This is the kind of shit my dad
And I'm a coffee
would have
buff.
absolutely. This kind of shit my dad would have absolutely loved. I think that's why, as older men, we react to this movie, because he's just kind of smarter and more experienced than everyone, and he kind of just like walks around the room and he's like, "Hey, watch out, coffee's over here. Hey, I use a 1911." He's a wise ass, and like,
and he's
you're
also
just like, I wish I could be this dude.
Well, he's got this old fashioned quality that we didn't realize would become old fashioned, of not being buttoned up and being modest and brushing stuff off with kind of like a sarcastic comment or like a shitty dad joke, but then being able to back it up. So now we live in this era where it's the exact opposite of that, where it's like this Trump thing of like talking loud and then not being able to back it up, where the whole time De Niro's like, oh yeah, well, I don't know, went to high school together, I gotta go see a guy about a horse. He's like that kind of fucking energy.
Yeah.
Hey, Gabrus, I wanted to ask you about coffee traps. Could somebody catch you with like if they put a cold brew like in a bear trap or something?
Yeah. Right now, dude, if you put cold brew concentrate in a bear trap, you could have me, because I am fucking, it is not anywhere in West Hollywood.
Like if you have to set up some trap for Gabrus, it's like, all right, we need Gabrus to be occupied for 30 minutes. Here, let's give him a cold brew, some celery juice, and that gives us about 15 minutes until go time. And then you're hanging out with. He's like, "Ooh, man, this is kicking in." And then he goes in the bathroom, and you're like, "Now."
Yeah.
And I'm in there doing a full play while you guys rob me. I'm not shitting at all. I'm singing like opera with like a Viking helmet on.
Cinematic. It's so fucking cinematic.
One of the cool things I like that Sam does in this scene and in every scene is anytime they do get a couple of details, he has 5 rapid fire follow-ups right after. She's like, it'll be like 6 to 8 guys. He's like, are they coming from work, going to work? Do they live in the town? Are they 5'10"? Like, and it's
fucking
like,
love it. You just want to be De Niro so bad when you see him. It's like, oh, I wish I thought of stuff like that.
I know. I'm like, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
So we kind of do a lot of jump cuts of our crew hanging together, and it's these early scenes. I appreciate them now, where they're winding up to get to the action to spring the trap a little bit. But now I appreciate the fucking economy of them as somebody who, tries to write screenplays and like tries to sell things. I'm like, God damn it, this is fucking interesting, and you could do this. These guys are just in a warehouse, and they're fucking talking about. It's got some Reservoir Dog vibes to it, where you're like, oh shit, I would happily see this for fucking 2 hours, just these guys talking shit. And they're like, you can only hang out, hold out the interrogation for so long. and the guys are loading weapons and getting them in the car, and
it's important to the story that you feel like Sam and Vincent care about each other, and they do just enough for that. It's effective. You feel that kind of relationship building, and it works.
And this is kind of what I was talking about before. They were like, how did they finally get you to crack? And he's like, they used the grasshopper on me. And everybody's like, what's in a grasshopper? Creme de menthe, gin.
He's like, one part creme de menthe, one part gin. Yeah. Yeah. But he also is letting them know I've been tortured, which is weird. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of casually being like, yeah, no, I've been tortured. All right, pussies. You're like,
yeah.
oh,
and it was
cool.
also like, well, if you get caught, you get caught. Like, you know, you're not fucking.
Who cares?
You're fucked.
It's over.
Yeah.
You're not keeping secrets. Like, so let's not learn anything about each other.
It's a moot point. It's a fucking moot point.
And this is another power move where Deirdre loads all the guys into one car, and he's like, I'm coming with you. And she's like, no, go with these guys. And so they're going to meet Sean Bean. He plays a character named Spence, and they're going to meet Spence's gun guy because he's the weapons guy, and he put in this order for all these guns. And so...
and he's all fucking juiced up.
Yeah, I know. He's got so much anxiety, and it's just like playing sports, Stanger. It's like the dude whose first game it is. You're like, we're still an hour away from kickoff. Save some fucking energy. Like the guy who's way too hyped.
Yeah,
Larry is about to smoke a cigarette, and De Niro's like, "Don't do that." And they're all like, "Yeah, huh? Bad for the night vision, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then a Volvo pulls up. They drive forward it. Bean, takes out his list of fucking guns that they were supposed to get to like double check it again. Vincent has the money. Everybody's fucking on pins and needles. And for the little information that you know, it's a miracle that you're fully on board with these guys. You're fully like, I'm scared too.
Yeah.
You're not even 100% positive they're buying guns until like a couple of minutes into you know what I mean? Like they're so vague that they need to get guns. They're like, you don't fully understand. Maybe they know these people. Then it's revealed they don't overly explain. Like you're saying, like they're not sitting there going, and how do we know these guys? Are they safe? They don't even say that. They're just like, it's not safe.
It's cool. Well, you kind of get the feeling that Sean Bean is ineffective and not great, but you don't know to what degree, and then they kind of keep slowly rolling it out and more. Like the whole thing this guy was supposed to put together for him is a total fucking bust.
And Bean like he's posing as this kind of like SAS badass, but he's got criminal energy, and he's probably, if I'm doing work for the movie, he's probably another cell block guy because he's got the energy of somebody being like, fuck it, let's just go in, let's just rob him, fuck it, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has the gun guy's contact info, and then throughout this whole sequence, he's so insane. And then on the drive home, when he's like, "That's what I'm talking about. We got the guns and kept the money," which is like the most criminal point of view you can have.
So it's not all in this car. All these French guys in this Volvo open up the trunk, and De Niro and Vincent kind of have his back. De Niro's real fucking sketched out about the whole thing. Larry, the wheelman, stays in the other car, and Sean Bean is like, "Hey, it's not all here. What the fuck?" And the French guy's like, "Oh, of course, it's in the other car." So another car pulls up under a bridge, and De Niro's like, "You're fishing a barrel. What are you, crazy? We're not going over there." And Spence is like, "Come on, let's just fucking do this. Let's get it done." And Vincent goes. He's like, and De Niro's like, "Why are you going?" He's like, "They're paying us to go. I'm going to go get it." And then a boat goes by and it lights up under the bridge, and De Niro sees a fucking sniper. And De Niro even called it, like he warned Vincent. He was like, "Hey, stay close to the fucking cellars, because if there's a sniper, they won't want to shoot their own men." And then as soon as they get near him, the dealers are all like, "All right, stop right there," like fucking 15 feet away from him. And so they're truly fishing a barrel. De Niro sees the sniper up in the fucking bridge lattice, and he fucking starts taking shot. The whole thing goes to shit. The French guy starts shooting. Fucking Larry pulls up in the car. We got a full-blown
highlight
firefight.
here for me. highlight here for me is Larry knows he's got to start moving the shit over from the first car while this is going on. But when the bad guys or the gun arms dealers flip the headlights on, and Bean's character goes, I can't, like he's immediately a liability. Like he's been posturing this whole time. And then the second they flick the headlights on, he's like, I can't see. And then Vincent grabs him, drags him away. And then he's like gleefully firing his submachine gun the whole time, just doing nothing. Like
and he looks good
no
with the gun
added.
too.
Yeah.
Gun work in this is top notch, I thought.
Yes. Awesome.
So
De Niro, later on, when De Niro uses that fucking grenade launcher, he looks fucking cool as hell into like the fucking big rifle. He rolls.
So they shred these fucking French arms dealers. They fucking light them up. The cops come. They all get in Larry's car, fucking speed the fuck out of there. They're all pumped. De Niro's the only one who's like, all right, slow down. And Bean gets out. He fucking pukes. And Vincent's like, hey, man, thank you. You saved my fucking life. If it weren't for you, that sniper would have shot me. Vincent was the guy in the fucking sniper's sights. And Vincent has enough of a fucking like experience to know that like he was fucked.
What do you think? What do you think Jean Reno? Like, what do you think his backstory is? Where do you think he was? Was he military, government, or was he a criminal?
I got the sense that he's like French Secret Service of some kind.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think he's French ex-military or I think he was a quote-unquote good guy, like worked for France in some way, because there's like later on in the movie, there's sort of like kind of being casual with each other that they're both working, that they're both good guys and shouldn't be here.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me. There's all the weird shit with Michael Lonsdale where it's like, all right, I'm clearly
what was that guy? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why I think that too. And then also he knows the fucking cronies that go after Gregor later when they're at the stadium. He's like,
and
I recognize those guys,
being able to get stuff in the way that he can doesn't speak to legitimacy, but you know.
But
right.
I guess I kind of thought of him as just a mercenary of the kind of guy the CIA uses of like,
sure,
I work for Secret Services. Like
they're all soldiers of fortune, right? There's some capacity. I was just wondering to what level. I mean, I don't think he's on the level that De Niro is in the sense that he's still with the CIA. But I just was wondering.
Or anything.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he's a little more nefarious, which makes their kind of relationship even cooler. But it's not really fleshed out. But it's also cool that it's a mystery. You know, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck?
So
he's got
Deirdre
a puppet pig.
Is getting out of like a tube station, and this is where she meets Jonathan Pryce, who he plays a character named Seamus, her boss essentially. And
I like Pryce a lot. He's the only questionable casting choice for.
He's so well known, and
and
to me, like he sounds like he's putting on a little bit different of an accent. But I was on board with it. I like.
He distracted me just a touch because he ends up being kind of one of the major bad guys at the end. You know,
he's the true villain.
And the Pope outfit is too much. Like it's like confusing the whole time that he's dressed like one of the two popes.
Yeah. It's like
I think you watched the wrong movie, Gabers.
Are you sure? Because De Niro is great as the other pope, but he doesn't look like himself. He's doing great character work. He's deep.
De Niro in full Hopkins face.
So this is where we learn the Russians are the big buyer of our case, our MacGuffin. It's like the Russians are buying it. You got to intercept it before the purchase. Then De Niro tells us of he's like, we meet with our guys again. He's like, hey, listen, you got to tell us what's in the case or my price is going up. And he's so fucking like alpha and great that you fucking love him. Where he's just like,
it's so great the way he is in this moment because he's also justified because they were just almost killed at what's supposed to be a simple deal. But also at the end of the movie, once you realize he's like undercover, all this shit, like this is such an alpha bold move, but it is also always to get more information and get like, let me talk to the fucking handler. There is no handler. Let me speak. Like all the shit what he gets angry about.
I'll get you the case, but the price is going up. If it's fucking amateur night, you're paying me more money. And like everybody's looking around at each other. Now, the one thing, like why this is sort of a fantasy that I love is because if you do this, you get fired. Like that's what's so frustrating about it. Whenever you become the fucking squeaky wheel on something, it's like, get this guy the fuck out of here who's asking for more money.
Oh, dude, it just made me feel like such the bitch, you know, doing like shitty, like non-union jobs and not speaking up to not get fired. Because you're right, you will get fired. So it's like, yes, please, I'll do it for $20.
You either will get fired or you're like, this guy's hard to work with. He's got a real fucking attitude problem.
Yeah, you never get brought back. But then every once in a while, you'll hear some story about like how fucking Dave Tooney asked for more money and they paid him $10,000 on the fucking.
It reminded me of all the stories about like Harry Shearer, where I loved his interview with Stern, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this shit. The Simpsons, it's a multi-million-dollar property. We're doing all the fucking work. They should be paying us a fortune." And he's like, everybody else is afraid to make waves after doing it for like 25 fucking years. They're all still like afraid to do it. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do your voices on your fucking theme park ride unless you pay me the scale. And then it's like, he's got a fucking problem. He's trying to destroy The Simpsons.
It always makes so much sense to me. I love seeing it, but I always end up like fucking Albert Brooks in Defending Your Life, where he just takes the less amount of money.
That's when they're when Rip Torn's showing him playback. Right?
Yeah, they're showing him playback, and like he preps it for like the whole. He has his wife like rehearse with them. You know, we'll pay you $80,000. I'm not taking less than $100,000. 90, not less than 100. They do it like 10 times, and then it cuts to him in the actual meeting. They're like, "We're prepared to offer you $60,000. I'll take it." Like immediately.
That movie's so fucking good, man.
Oh yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies of all time. That's my favorite Albert Brooks. I mean, I know he's got so many fucking hits, but
well, it was my intro to Albert Brooks. I didn't really know his movies before then. That was the only one where I was like old enough to see it when it came out.
Yeah, that's probably why it's my favorite. It's probably the first one I saw, and I love rom-coms, especially weird sci-fi ones.
I liked it at a young age because it had that kind of heaven, supernatural sci-fi component. Before I really got the nuance of it all, like I was like, "Oh, there's enough for me in this." And then so I've always got a soft spot, but that kind of that runner he had of like 3, the Lost in America, Modern Romance, and Defending Your Life are all great.
Yeah, they're all great.
Your Life for sure.
So fun.
And also, as a kid, I didn't realize how big a role he played in The Simpsons, and like how he was the voice of so many of these weird guest characters that I loved. His name to me was always so. And there's like another Brooks involved in The Simpsons. When you look at the credits, they all kind of roll together, not realizing that his name is Albert Einstein.
There's James Brooks. Yeah. And that's the confusing thing for me too, because I was like, I didn't understand how much of a part of The Simpsons he was because of James L. Brooks, Al Brooks, and Al Jean. All those 3 names. And I'd be like, it would fucking confuse me.
Yeah, when you're
kid.
10 years old, you're just like, whatever, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
It comes up a lot on this show. You guys would fucking stone watching The Simpsons and talking about them all the time. I would say 98% of my conversation, and I talk to him all fucking day, are Simpsons related.
It's great.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, that's got to feel good.
You could be doing so much worse. Like there's so like
great.
You know what I mean? Like thank fucking God.
There's
not
so many
Yu-Gi-Oh
dads
or
listening to
whatever.
the show that are like, my kid listens to fuck. I wish my kid would watch The Simpsons. He only
Yeah.
he only does.
I'm not complaining. It's lucky. It's lucky.
He only watches 70-year-old Russian women brushing their hair topless on the dark web. I wish my kid would watch The Simpsons.
I talk to my kid all day about Russian topless women dark web stuff. It's all we talk about, especially now with the fucking the quarantine. We're just stuck here talking about it all day. Just talking about porno. There's so much fucking COVID. Have you guys seen like one of my friends at work sent us, there's like a huge crop of COVID, like erotic books on Amazon that are like COVID 69. And they're all about like your fucking like grocery delivery guy, like fucking eating your box and stuff.
Whoa, just people like bug chasers, or just people starved for like
just it's just hacky like erotic sex books where they're just like, all right, the setting is the fucking COVID-19 shit, and like everybody's inside and like horny, and somebody comes over to fucking drop off your groceries, and they fucking stick around. They fuck you with a cucumber that you fucking ordered.
A hothouse, an English hothouse cucumber, the real long ones, them long boys.
I did a little rewrite on your work. Instead of a cucumber, it's an English hothouse. Those are longer and they probably feel better, a little bit girthier.
Hey, I know I'm the third guy to take a pass on this, but I changed all the names so I could have ownership, and I switched it from a hothouse cucumber to a knobby carrot, so it has like a little bit of a clit stimulation.
It's a little veinier.
It's a gourd.
And the little hairy whiskers on the carrot, I mean, they might increase the tickle factor. So
it's not my dick painted to look like a carrot.
This scene is so fucking... This is like one of the best scenes of the movie, and it's not even really an action scene. It's just so fucking satisfying of drawing the shitty drawing of like, all right, we're going to have gunmen here and here. It'll be a classic. And fucking De Niro just walks up, erases. He's like, draw it again. Do you remember it? Draw it again. And then he starts quizzing him about his SAS experience. He's like, if you're really this, fucking what color is this building? And
the boathouse.
The boathouse at what?
Before he did all this, he left a cup of coffee on the edge of a table to walk Bean into, and then he knocks it over on himself to burn himself and kind of give himself a jolt. And then fucking De Niro uses that opportunity to fucking get behind him and take his gun out. So he fully humiliates this guy.
Exquisitely satisfying.
Deirdre's like, all right, you'll get your money if we get the case. And then they fucking they fire him. You're like,
what a great firing. She's like, I can take an account, you'll forget us because we will remember you. And it's just so like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking loser.
I'd love to be humiliated by Deirdre. I forgot that he never comes back. I thought for sure he was going to have some kind of
like
scorn.
A traitor, or like sell him out in some way. It's like
I do love that he never comes back. I love it.
He like quits the business. He gets into podcasting.
He does the South. He tours the South doing comedy. Puts out a purchase your own special for $8.
People need to laugh.
I truly thought before I rewatched this movie recently, I thought he dies because I thought he died because I was throwing it around like he dies in Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Ronin. I've been saying for like a decade, I've been using that as also an example.
Let me tell you, Gabrus, he dies a spiritual death, man.
The worst kind.
You know what I mean?
So later, Skarsgård also is like putting equipment like in like a barrel or some shit, and he's like, "What color is the boathouse?" Then it was like, "How the fuck should I know?"
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's because he's colorblind.
Cut to Nice. De Niro is. Oh, is it nice?
It's pronounced nice. Yeah.
Just the like city's so nice they called it Nice.
I will say, recording over Zoom makes the dumb interruptions we do feel so much more like big swings where you got to be like, okay, like gonna say,
all right,
and it's like we all have to pause.
Everybody, shut up, pause, and let her rip. Let it go.
What was that? What was that, Stanger? Oh, Nice is pronounced nice. Good stuff. Back to the show. Thank you.
I know. I've stopped myself 5 times from just like undercutting something Roger said to like make fun, like shit I would just normally do, and I'm just like, if I keep interrupting this track, I'm gonna be mad at myself.
I haven't stopped myself once. I've gone back.
Yeah.
I went back to do your little the shitty coffee bear trap joke. Everything's on the table for me.
Hey, we're all playing into our strengths.
So De Niro's in a room in Nice. They're in like a safe house, and they're looking out at. He's looking at photos of the case. Skarsgård is like a computer guy, right? And
yeah,
and so he's like always doing fucking high tech bullshit. Larry, of course, is making food, and De Niro's got a great. He's like, you're either part of the problem, you're part of the solution, or you're part of the landscape. And so he wants to case the hotel where the guys who have the case are staying. He's like, let's go look around. And he tells Deirdre, he's like, bring some money. We're going to do some shopping. So they go to this hotel pretending to be married tourists.
Fucking, I love this. Is like peak genius shit.
God.
This is like the tradecraft. Is that what the spy people call it? It's on such display here, and it's the coolest fucking, all of the shit, like from making like all the Rube Goldberg shit he sets up to like get whatever
when this
info he
was
needs.
playing out, like I wanted to go like rough up Nancy and Stone in bed and just like just like kind of just like
there's
wake
a lot
them
of
up
stuff that like we gotta break down here because it gets pretty specific in a very Action Boys way. Where
oh yeah, I know exactly which part you're talking
let's
about.
not rush it. Well, let's take our time with it. So he's sipping coffee in the lobby.
Let's not rush it.
There's a bald guy who comes down. He's with the case, and he's got like a bunch of women with him, and fucking meanwhile, De Niro is doing some bullshit with the camera, and he finds some random local. He's like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my wife? And then he's like, yeah, sure. And he's explaining how the camera works. And as he's doing it, he's taking a fucking ton of pictures of this guy. But it looks totally normal. And he's like, all right, now take a bunch of pictures of just my wife. And he goes in, he sets up, he moves a sign on one of the doormen's carts.
On a bell cart, yeah.
And then he's like, all right, now let me take a picture of you with my wife. And it gets very fucking Action Boys-y, like porno shit.
He also says to the clerk, I rewatched this scene. Today I rewatched this scene that's why I was telling you, like, I can't find it. Then it made me go back and rewatch the whole movie again. I've watched it twice this week. He goes to the bellman. He goes, hey, make sure these get up to my room pronto. And like taps the guy. And like he tips like 4 things in motion. Yeah, he tips him. He sets like 4 things in motion at once. It's so fucking smart.
Did you guys think that one guy that wanted us to fuck his wife was maybe just doing surveillance now?
Oh yeah,
looking back on it,
2020. Maybe
Action Boys. I'm not bad. I'm not mad. I just want you to eat my wife's put. Like maybe this guy was just doing surveillance. We thought it was.
Yeah, he was fucking figuring out our passwords and shit.
Yeah. So the whole thing was a cover, or maybe not even our passwords.
This poor photo guy. He thinks he's about to get into like a hot wifing situation, and like he gets fucking blue balled big time.
Oh yeah, we know he goes home and tells
we haven't really discussed her, but Deidre is played by that. I don't know how to say her last name, but it's like Natasha McClung. She's the wife from Californication. I fell in love with her on that show, and so I forgot that it was her in this movie and throwing this on.
She's got another
Action
big
Boys,
film,
please,
right?
Please eat my wife's pussy. What was that noise? Please, Action Boys. Turn to the side. Now the other side, Action Boys.
Action Boys.
Please, I need you to satisfy my wife. Please, titty fuck my daughter, Action Boys. Hold up your fingerprints. Give me a thumbs up if you want to titty fuck my wife. Now zoom in on the thumbs so I can open your phones.
Right as you climax, Action Boys, say your mother's maiden name. That's my kink.
Okay, now put your arm around my wife. Okay, that's good. Now, tell Tell my wife you got a bigger dick than I do. All right, no, it's
She
good
was
for the
in-
photo.
She was in the Truman Show.
That's her other big credit. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Now everybody laugh about me sucking my own dick.
Now I'm just going to shake my head to the side and say, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh no, no, no,
Oh,
no.
no.
It sucks when you have to watch your wife get fucked while you're in a slowly lifting garbage truck.
Oh, no.
Oh no, no, no.
Oh,
So
no.
the bellboy moves the cart, which causes the sign to fall, makes a big bang. The bald guy who's holding the case, his whole security team jumps into action. All the while, De Niro is snapping pictures, and we do a fun cut to like the scene, and we dissolve, and I don't know, match cut, whatever the fuck it's called, into the photo of these security guards busting out, and he's like, "They're good, they're good."
That fucking match cut, that's what I was talking about. I wanted to wake up Nancy and Stone. Get the fuck out of bed. It was like 1 a.m. I was like, this is so fucking good. Get up. Both of you, get up.
Ronan. I was telling you about Ronan before you went to sleep. Remember? No? Interesting. Didn't land at all on your radar, the fact that I've been screaming about this movie for 48 hours?
Get your
Oh
fucking
God, what's
asses
happening?
up.
Is the virus mutating? No, you gotta watch Ronin from
Watch
1998.
this scene. Wildly
so De Niro's
satisfying.
like, if we want to do this, we need 2 more guys.
Love this.
And she's
No
like,
way.
now, this is also like, we're going to stick to the plan. We're going to wait. The buyers moved shit to tomorrow. And De Niro's like, all right, we'll stay put. Best thing we can do is stay put. Fuck this. I want to go see for myself. And she's like, all right, I'm coming with you. So they go, they look at the villa, and they kind of, like, we have this fun little scene of them kind of feeling each other out of who they are. And he's like, how'd you get into this business? She's like, a wealthy scoundrel seduced and betrayed me. He's like, same as me. And a car goes by. They look at a map. The car keeps going. They put the map away. Police go by. They start making out. They keep going by. They stop making out. And then she is like, hey, that one bad. And then she fucking gets on top of him. Presumably they fuck.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it's weird. When she goes to climb on top of him, she accidentally puts her leg in a cup of coffee that De Niro has strategically located in the cup holder. And he's like, I fucking trapped you in the car. I'll trap you wherever I need to.
De Niro's like,
It rem-
let me go in the back and suck my own dick for a couple minutes before we get this going on. That's an
It
openly
reminded
known
me-
thing, right? That De Niro sucks his own dick.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
You guys didn't know that?
No.
I've heard
do
this
tell.
from multiple sources. That De Niro seduces women. I've heard the same. It might be the same story, but it's basically like De Niro has a guy that's like, "Hey, De Niro wants to meet you. He wants to take you out. Here's a key to his hotel room." And then you fucking you open the door. And he's in there sucking his own dick. And then you go, and then he goes to town on you. And you're fucking like, all right, hey, it's De Niro. I'm here for the story.
Jesus Christ. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Huge fan. Suck your own dick. I'll fuck you. Let's do it.
Are you
that's-
ethnically ambiguous looking?
Yeah. He likes
Are you
the
an
black
ethnically
chicks.
ambiguous looking model? And would you want to fuck an Academy Award winner? And then if you answer yes to both of those, then you fucking see him suck his own dick for a second, and then you have a night to remember.
Will it bump you if when you walk in, he's sucking his own Oscar-winning dick? And if not,
Yeah, it would. All right, well then don't go up.
hey, no harm, no foul. The car scene did remind me of this true story of where this guy gave his girlfriend Spanish fly, and then he had to run inside to grab something, and he gave it to her in the car. And then when he came back out, she was dead. And she had gotten so horny in his absence, she fucked herself on his stick shift and killed
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah, that's
It's
a true story.
Yeah.
That's a true story. It's a true story. It's happened in every single town. across the country. It's a huge problem.
Yeah,
Because it's
an
not
epidemic.
like, yeah, it's maybe
It's a
the
pandemic.
it's the last pandemic. Everybody keeps saying
Yeah.
it's the 1918 flu, but it wasn't. It was actually the 1991 Spanish flu. Fuck the stick shift pandemic.
Yeah. And if those guys had just stayed, they would have fucked. But now the girl's dead and they don't have sex.
Yeah, because that batch of Spanish fly, it was too strong.
It's too strong.
Yeah, all right. Let's dust the stick shift for Quim, boys. I think we. I got a vulva print off the stick shift.
Let's send that to the
Well,
lab, boys.
run it through the database.
Don't you see? It matches. It matches the Quim stain in the stick shift in New Jersey. It's worldwide. You're crazy. That's impossible. Let's let kids drive around willy-nilly.
Get
I believe
Fauci
you.
involved.
I looked at your papers. I believe you. Oh, finally, thank God. The cops are trying to stop me. This thing goes all the way to the top. So
I think they do fuck for sure. Because
They gotta fuck.
because
otherwise,
De Niro's
Oh, yeah.
because De Niro can't fucking pull the trigger later because of that.
right? But or
I
is
got
it
a lot of
because like
complaints
they
about that
almost
moment.
fucked and they didn't?
I don't know.
And it's like,
yeah, she
God,
left.
I'd love
if
to.
he would have fucked her, he would have I have no problem killing someone I already fucked. But if I haven't fucked them yet, I don't want to kill them
No,
until
dude,
I've tried fucking them.
you got to understand that fucking De Niro in this is a Captain Save-A-Ho. And now that he's fucked her, he goes all fucking Captain Save-A-Ho.
Well, do you think he just? My theory is they fucked and Sam did a really bad job,
Oh yeah. That's
and so
And then he tried to blame Sean Bean. He's like, he's like, couldn't get hard on. He's like, you hired the fucking rookie. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you shut the fuck up. Don't look at me.
and so he knows he's got to fuck her again to like make up for it. So like to get the good word out because he's got to like redeem himself a little bit.
yeah. Yep. That's it.
I don't know. I think that's
That's it.
like De Niro's acting secret and stuff. I think he probably wrote a whole story, like backstory for Sam that we don't see on screen. But I have access to that backstory. I did a little research and I went to an old bookstore and I found it. And that's in there. I'm reading out of it right now. So Sarsgaard is testing equipment in a van.
I'm reading the novelization of Ronin for all the backstory on the character. 4,000 pages.
I was listening to some fucking podcast, the New Beverly podcast with Tarantino, and he's talking. Have you guys ever seen Carney with Gary Busey and Jodie Foster?
I have not.
They're talking about Carney. It's a fun movie. It's worth it for Busey. But they're talking about Carney, and then Tarantino was talking about how he read the novelization of the movie before the movie came out, and how the movie is better in certain elements than the novelization. And he had given the novel to some guy there, one of the guys, to read in preparation for the conversation, and the guy didn't read it, and Tarantino's kind of pissed at him for it. He's like, "That was your homework. You didn't read the novelization." I mean, I was like, "Yeah, fucking read it, dude. Come on."
If De Niro or fucking Tarantino gave me a fucking book, I would read it.
Me too.
If
You know?
if Tarantino said do more planks, you fat fuck, to me, I would like change my workout
Yeah.
routine.
Hey, I want to put you in a movie. You got to do. I mean, even if it was like the night before, I would stay up all night reading a
Me too.
novelization, which I'm sorry, can't be more than 150 pages. There's no fucking way.
It's not much longer than a script. It's a fucking novelization.
So De Niro is he activates a phone. He's on the street. Sarsgaard's like, okay, he's got his phone on. And so then we cut to De Niro. He's on the street. He's got his phone on. We're getting ready for the mission. Larry is talking on his phone in the car. He's in position. The case leaves the villa. They fucking drive in a big convoy, and they drive by Deirdre, who's like got the hood of the van. That I guess everybody's in position. So Sarsgaard's in the van with all the tech shit. Deirdre's outside the van with the hood up, Larry is in a car somewhere in his position, and then Vincent and De Niro are on the street.
At the intersection. Wait, Larry pulls into his hiding spot in such an intense way that it's really funny.
I love
Like
it.
They seem like they have to demonstrate that he's the badass driver in just this one U-turn where he's got to like go in the dirt road and he's like, and it's just so sick.
Earlier they show him practicing that maneuver too, right? In that same area.
Did you see the sauna where he wanted to do his own driving and Frankenheimer was like, that's fine. I don't want to see any brake lights.
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a great fucking reference, like a great line to say. And then that dude did, right? He did all his driving.
Have you guys ever had to
He doesn't
drive
have the
on camera at all?
Yeah.
I
It's
had
fucking
to drive
terrifying.
a fucking
I wouldn't want to do it.
No, it's terrifying.
I've done it too. I've driven a fucking old beat up Ecto 1 when I was in like this Citibank Ghostbusters commercial like 10 years ago. I had to and like pull it into a firehouse and everything. It was disaster.
So
It was
you listeners
terrifying.
who want to know what it's like, imagine the pressure you feel when you're doing a parallel park in like in front of a cafe or something where there's a bunch of people that are fucking watching you. It's that times 1,000.
Yeah, conservatively
imagine
times 1,000.
If you have to if you have to readjust your parallel park and it costs everyone around you $100,000, that's what it's like. Like if you're like, sorry, can I do that again? Everyone is mad at you. Like you're like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's
And
like
then
if you
another
fuck up
time-
your parallel park, everybody's getting a parking ticket.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's the analogy. I also did it once where fake driving in a trailer, like in a process trailer, they call it, you know, where they're like your car is just like on a tow truck, but
Right.
it seems like you're actually driving. And I did that shit, and that's
fun.
fun. That's like
fun.
Yeah.
that's like that makes it feel like you're in the fucking. That makes it so cool. You're just like riffing, acting like you're driving, which is so much less scary than actually driving.
Two things. I had to do it for this dumb, like, Funny or Die thing with Katy Perry, where I was a cop, and I had to put her in the car as a cop, like, you know, duck her head down into the car, and then time it to where I was driving away as she was delivering her line, and then just kind of step on the gas to punch it. And then I would have to do a whole circle around the lot to get back around to start over again multiple times. So it'd just be like,
With Katy Perry in your
Yeah,
car,
just-
quietly driving back to A.
yeah, just quietly driving back to A. And the car was like this gutted cop car, which didn't, you know, like the brakes were shitty, like it didn't work. And so that was all.
Oh, because it was Funny or Die.
Yeah. So that was all fucking stressful. And another time I was shooting this thing with Tom Lennon and a couple of other guys, and he was driving this big Denali through a parking lot that was like, had all these cars kind of narrowly parked, and it was a gravelly parking lot. And he pulls up to like Ty Burrell and a bunch of other people, and then kind of talks to them through the window of the car and is real snarky and mean, and then steps on it and drives away and like whips up gravel and shit. And fucking Tom Lennon was such a pro. Like he was punching it down there, and it was like fishtailing, and then he'd stop it perfect, exactly on the mark, do his line, funny as hell, improvise, and then take off perfectly. I was so jealous. He did it like 5 times, each time precision perfect.
The
I
cool
would've been
part
fucking
about
terrified.
doing it is that usually a really professional crew is there's such pros that you feel completely supported at all times. So there's
Yeah,
usually somebody there that like, there's something about the energy, and there's obviously exceptions to this rule. I'm talking about people who work a lot, and I think part of that is like at these jobs, you're inherently likable.